We have one mission at the program: develop better leaders and create more cohesive teams.
Let's go, man, it's a race.
A couple things that you had mentioned with you talk about the devastating effects on short-term and long-term public health. We have a focus on cases and death. During the same time, you mentioned mental health. And I was reading an article. Benjamin Miller was the author of it, of the Well-Being Trust, co-authored a study that talked about seeking to determine how many deaths of despair from drug or alcohol abuse or suicide will result as a result of our response to the pandemic. Their estimate, 75,000. Further, a United Nations report came out in April and warned that economic hardship, and I quote, generated by the radical interruptions of commerce could result in hundreds of thousands of additional child deaths in 2020. 42 million to 66 million children could fall into extreme poverty. Extreme poverty is for our listeners, is stated as a condition characterized by severe deprivation of basic human needs. And yet our fear, our panic has us focused solely on number of cases and deaths. And I think that that's a very myopic viewpoint.
It's selfish, Eric. So if you think about that number, tens of millions of kids around the world in poverty, the similar estimates out of, I think it was the UN, said that this year, there will be an additional 130 million people at risk of starvation.
Yeah,
as a consequence of the economic
Yep.
collapse caused by the lockdowns, right? I mean, I think, if you live on $2 a day of income, which is actually, unfortunately, a lot of the world population,
right.
An economic hit of just, 20 cents puts you at risk for starvation. I mean, it is a huge impact, and it's often more than 20 cents. When India locked down, people who sell food day to day, they buy the food, they sell it, then they use the money to buy more food so they can eat, and then buy more food to sell the next day. They locked down, all the customers are gone. They're forced to march or walk hundreds of miles back to their hometown in order for the quarantine. I mean, a lot of people don't survive that kind of deprivation, right? And those people's lives matter as much as the lives that we see counted each day in the death numbers shown on COVID. I mean, if we understood the magnitude of that harm, I think we'd think about this epidemic very, very differently.